Guys, quick question. What is the single worst thing you could do to someone that has a fear of heights? If you answered, pretend to push them over the Grand Canyon, yeah, you'd be right. And that is exactly what happens in this story. Am I the butthole for leaving my boyfriend in Arizona after he pretended to push me over the edge of the Grand Canyon? I just went to the Grand Canyon with my boyfriend. I'm 150% afraid of heights. Don't go near windows, railings type of scared. Phobia in the full sense of the words. Because of this, I didn't want to go in the first place. But it's a famous destination, so I figured it was worth facing my fears. I had multiple conversations with my boyfriend about my fears. At least 5 separate in-depth convos about how scared I was about having a panic attack around strangers. I have a long history of panic attacks. He assured me he'd help me maintain my distance from ledges and calm me down if I got overwhelmed or scared. We just went. We planned to do a tour, then go out by ourselves in the following days. Well, on day 1 on our tour, we stopped at a scenic lookout to take pictures, and he decided it would be funny to grab me and pretend to try and push me over the edge of the cliff. I immediately freaked out and, unsurprisingly, had a panic attack all in front of our group, while the poor guy tried to calm me down. I'm not proud of how I acted, but I'll tell you, it wasn't pretty. I was sobbing and yelling that he was cruel for doing this, that he knew I was terrified and he was evil for using that against me. He was yelling back that it was a joke. I was taking it too seriously and to get over it because I was embarrassing myself and him, which, to be fair, it was quite embarrassing. I think I was the butthole in this next part. I told him he was a horrible person and his ex was right to leave him. Context: his ex left him because she thought he was immature, but she left right before a high-profile family event and embarrassed him among his family. He yelled that was screwed up to say, and in hindsight, I think he's right, especially since it was in public. The tour guide separated us and took me back to their office, and I have no idea what my boyfriend did after that. He wasn't in our hotel when I got my stuff, and I got a flight to my parents' state, and I've been staying here while I figure out if this relationship is still alive. We live together and work for the same company, so if this is over, my life is going to get very messy. The thing is, we have a ton of mutual friends, and I have half of them texting, calling me to say I'm overreacting and being a psycho idiot. Besides my 3 closest friends, I haven't told anyone anything. But because they all know him too, everyone has heard some version of events, and they're making it seem like I'm leading a PR campaign against him. I don't have social media though, and I haven't said anything to anyone besides my best friends. They're particularly mad that I left him in Arizona. I don't think what I did was worth all the hate I'm getting. I left him the rental car and hotel room, and I took an Uber to the airport. I paid for everything myself, including our hotel room, and I left a note in the room telling him I was going to my parents. I feel like people don't understand, but there are so many people saying the same thing that I'm starting to question myself. So, am I the butthole? Not a chance. That is one of the worst things you could possibly do to someone that has a fear of heights. I'm sorry, but it's not embarrassing to have a panic attack like that when you're that scared and your own boyfriend is messing around. What is embarrassing is your boyfriend's actions. You actually handled this extremely maturely and well, and I don't think you were the butthole for even 1 second in this situation. It was a horrible thing to do, and you let him know. Your boyfriend is the one that should be profusely apologizing here, and I wouldn't even blame you if you did split up with him. Am I the butthole for telling my girlfriend I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish, even if it makes her uncomfortable? My late best friend and I knew each other since we were little. We were next door neighbors and always played together. We even went to the same kindergarten, primary school, and middle high school together. One day during our sophomore year, we started talking about how most of our classmates had started dating. We obviously weren't okay with that and decided to get one up on all of them by getting married. As a joke, I made her a fake ring and she gave me her scrunchie. A few weeks later, a drunk driver hit her. She sustained multiple injuries and was in the ICU for 2 months. The doctor told her family that her survival chances are slim. In the only time I talked to her before she died, she made me promise to always visit her on our wedding anniversary and to wear her scrunchie during the visits. 4 years ago, when I started dating my girlfriend, I told her about it and asked if she was okay with it. She commented about how sweet and nice the tradition was and told me she was perfectly fine with it. Today was the 10th anniversary and I took the day off. Before my girlfriend went to work, she told me it's time to put this tradition to rest and move on because it was starting to get pathetic that I still wear a dead girl scrunchie to celebrate a fake marriage that we had 10 years ago. I was furious at her comments because she wasn't just a dead girl. She was my best friend and like a sister to me. We grew up and did everything together. I told my girlfriend a long time ago that we never had a sexual or romantic relationship and that our wedding was just a joke. It's not like I talk about her or keep her photos around the house or anything like that. The only times I've talked about her to my girlfriend is when I told her if she was okay with the tradition or if she asked me about her. When I told her that I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish, even if it made her uncomfortable, she left for work angry at me and hasn't come back home yet. Alright, first off, definitely not the butthole. I believe in sophomore year, you're about 15 or 16 years old. Americans, let me know if I'm right there. That is old enough, obviously, to have an unbelievable amount of memories of someone. It's not as if this person died when they were 3 or 4. Like, this is OP's best friend for that period of time. They mean a lot to them, clearly. If your girlfriend sees this tradition as something more than the silly thing that it is, you know, wearing a scrunchie, like, who really cares? Then I think she's got problems of her own. It's just a nice tradition and a nice way to remember your friend that was so tragically killed. Am I the butthole for asking my fiance to consider wearing contacts for our wedding? I, a 23-year-old man, and my fiance, a 21-year-old woman, are engaged and getting married in a couple of weeks. She has pretty bad vision, so needs contacts or glasses in order to function. For some context, I'm the one that wants a wedding with our family and friends. She always just wanted a courthouse wedding. She compromised and we're doing a wedding with friends and family. Also, she showed her wedding dress to my mum, who reacted negatively, which really hurt my fiance. My mum apologized to her the next day before I even got a chance to say something to her, but still. Also, I messed up and didn't consult her before ordering my suit for the big day. So much has already gone wrong here. What? For the first 2 years of our relationship, she preferred contacts 100% of the time, then developed a little sty in her right eye that made it uncomfortable and unhealthy to wear contacts for multiple days, so she switched to glasses. It still hasn't gone away, but it's gotten significantly smaller. She still wears glasses to try and not aggravate it. On a couple of occasions, like getting nice pictures taken or a significant holiday, she switched back to contacts on her own to look nicer. She knows I prefer her in contacts, and I thought she preferred that look as well. Cut to a couple of days ago. I ask her if she's gonna wear contacts or glasses for our wedding. She says she's leaning strongly towards glasses. I stuff down my surprise and just go, okay, and move on. I couldn't get over it though, and her and I have established on multiple occasions how much we value open and honest communication, even if it's hurtful. Last night I asked if she would reconsider wearing contacts. She became quite offended and said I just destroyed her self-image since I'm clearly implying she looks better in contacts, but hasn't really worn contacts in almost a year. Also, mentioning that now means that if she chooses to wear glasses, she's going to be self-conscious. I emphasized that it's totally up to her what she wears, but it was weighing on me, and I didn't want to play mind games or hide my feelings, so I told her. Because of this, and all the stuff I outlined in context above, she feels like she didn't get to have an opinion on what I wear, but everything about what she's wearing has been criticized by me and or my family. So, am I the butthole? Sorry, I'm pretty much just laughing here because this is the most open and shut case I've ever seen of a butthole ever. Like, this guy, I'll be honest, might be the biggest butthole I've ever seen on this subreddit. It started badly and it got even worse, my friend. What? Look, I get it. There's being open and honest, and there's also just being rude. Like saying you look bad in glasses, can you not wear them on your wedding day is nuts. You gotta compromise. Come on, what is that? I just can't get over how badly this story even started in the first place. Your mum reacted horribly to the wedding dress. You chose your suit without her knowing. What is this? Is just, oh, this is horrible. But just don't get married, guys. I don't know you, but reading this, don't get married. Am I the butthole for asking my aunt what part of the penis was required to operate a toy? So, I, a 26-year-old woman, am expecting my first daughter with my husband, who is 29, in September. I grew up in a moderately religious household with pretty strictly defined gender roles. As in, since I was a girl, I had chores around the house, while my younger brother did not have to do anything. I don't talk to my parents for a variety of reasons, going on 5 years now, so they do not know I'm pregnant. Both my aunts and grandparents were very supportive of me leaving my household, and as such have been my main family. being 6 months pregnant now, people have started to give gifts, and I'm very grateful for them. We've decided that we don't want our daughter to be surrounded by pink everything with only girl things. So we've made a conscious effort to include traditionally boy outfits and toys like dinosaurs and cars. We've told people that any gender items would be accepted. And if it's getting too much pink, we've gone out to balance a bit, getting a green jacket or something. My younger aunt has taken great offense to this because boys are boys and girls are girls. And she is a very verbal and loud person and has let us know several times her opinions. She has 2 boys. At my baby shower, my older aunt gifted us a book called Goodnight Construction Sites and a little stuffed truck. My younger aunt went on a tirade about how we're somehow making our daughter trans and not allowing her to be a girl. And she's a loud person, so of course her saying this was more like a yell, and in front of my very liberal in-laws who are very supportive of our choice. Pregnancy hormones took over, and I grabbed the toy, gave it to my younger aunt, and asked her what part of the penis was needed to operate this toy truck. She yelled that's not what she meant, and left. The rest of the baby shower went fine, but it was a bit awkward after. Since then, she's been blowing up Facebook, where a bunch of people agree with her that I am making my daughter trans and have been telling me that I was a butthole. The rest of my family think what we're doing is fine, but that I shouldn't have handled it that way. So, was I a butthole? Okay, well, first of all, let's just clear up that anyone who thinks that you're making your daughter trans is actually so dumb, it's unbelievable. That's the first point that we have to make clear. Secondly, you parent your child exactly how you want to. It's your child at the end of the day. And look, I get it. People have different opinions. That's absolutely fine. The world would be boring otherwise. But no, you're not making your daughter trans. You're just parenting your daughter in the way you want to. Sounds like you're a great parent, by the way. Keep doing you. Your aunt is dumb. Am I the butthole for telling my mother-in-law, no ring, no opinion, whenever she gets involved in my marriage? Okay, so this seems kind of silly, and I want to start by saying that I, a 25-year-old woman, really like my mother-in-law, but she's intrusive as frick. Like, she tried to get involved in issues that are none of her concern. While her son, a 32-year-old man, and I were dating, she tried to get in between during every disagreement, be it major or little. To be honest, I had a hard time setting boundaries, and with my husband's attitude, it made it almost impossible to get her to give me the space I need, especially when she says she's just trying to help. Now, after marriage, nothing changed. She would get in between me and her son in every problem we have. Not just this, but also give opinions and comments on things like the house, job, car, insurance, basically marital issues that only concern me and my husband. I thought about ways to tell her off, but I didn't want to come off as harsh and aggressive, so I came up with this line whenever she tries to get involved in our marriage. I would tell her, no ring, no opinion. And in response, she'd become upset and get offended. On Sunday, my husband and I went over to her house and had dinner. My mother-in-law then, out of the blue, brought up mine and my husband's decision to have kids and kept insisting to know when we were going to start trying, and kept giving suggestions on when it's best to start. I felt so caught off guard and embarrassed, but I didn't even engage or talk about it. I just said, sorry mother-in-law, no ring, no opinion. The table went quiet and everyone looked at her to see her reaction. She looked sort of embarrassed and kept moving in her chair till she excused herself to the bathroom. My husband glared at me and he looked super angry. He then went to talk to her and it turned awkward. After we went home, he started berating me for what I said to his mum. He said it was rude and disrespectful. I told him that his mum has overstepped by commenting and giving opinions on marital matters that only concern us. He yelled at me, saying, "The frick you want me to do? Disown her? Really? Think about how this would make you look in front of the family." Then he went to call his dad, who was also upset with me, saying I embarrassed his wife for no reason whatsoever and that I needed to get rid of this horrible attitude of mine. So, am I the butthole? Did I go too far? Okay, interesting one there. I do agree with you. Overall, she is a bit too intrusive, and I understand why you're saying what you're saying and you want her to, take a back seat and not get involved in every little marital discussion that happens between you and your husband. She doesn't need to be involved in that. However, I think the way you went about it was a little too curt, to be fair. You didn't really need to say just that, and I get it. Look, it's obviously become tiring and she gets involved in every little thing and you're fed up of trying to reason with her, but you need to be polite. It's hard and it's easy for me to say that sitting here in my bedroom, but You can't just say one little short, rude sentence, let's be fair, is quite rude, to your mother-in-law and think that that's okay, in my opinion. It's a controversial one, guys. Let me know in the comments. For me, I think you just have to show a little bit more respect. It's annoying, I understand that, but just try and reason with her a little bit more. I would say that the fact that your husband also thinks it's okay that your mother-in-law is getting involved this much is a little bit weird, don't you think? Like, if anything, I would have thought that your husband would be like, Mum, can you just like be quiet? This is my wife. I'm not in a relationship with you. Leave us to it. It's weird that he is the one that's like, no, let her speak about every little topic. I don't know, just my opinion. The whole point of this subreddit is that I want to hear yours. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts.